At the time, I was going through a very life-changing moment. I was going through a separation. I was engaged. I spent pretty much a lot of my time thinking about the family that I was going to start. I spent a year saving every dollar I can to buy a house, to get engaged. And in the blink of an eye, it all went away. And without getting into too much detail, I didn't see it coming, as usually it is the case for men. And on top of me getting those big news, I get the news that I'm probably going to lose my job. So now I lose the love of my life. I have a house that I just purchased 6 months ago. I'm heartbroken. I'm financially stressed, and I don't even know what to do with work. The owner of the dealership, he told me, well, we're gonna open up a location in Ottawa. Ottawa, the market is more stable. Ottawa is known for having like its own economy because it's a lot of government workers. And the problems that we're having with the dealership, we might not have them there. On a side note, when you're in finance, it's very hard in a big city. The big city has a lot of immigrants. And nothing against immigrants. I'm an immigrant myself. But when you're selling high ticket items, and a lot of them, I would say the majority of people finance vehicles, you can't finance cars to somebody on a student visa. And so you're getting a lot of people up trying to buy a car, and it wasn't working. So we had to close, move to Ottawa. And he made me a good offer. He offered me a six-figure salary. He paid for my home for a year, and he gave me a nice BMW, like a 5 Series to drive.
And this is like a bonus essentially for relocating to
He
Ottawa.
fired everybody, and I said, if you want to, either you have two choices: you move to Ottawa, 100,000 a year, free BMW and a free apartment, or you find another job. And we part ways. And it's been great working with you. And I don't know, it was a blessing. I mean, I was going through a breakup, so I was like, man. So I was like, okay, I have to go. Like, I have no choice, and I don't even want to be in the house. I'm grieving at the time. Breakups
It's
are really hard because you're mourning a loss. You go through stages of grief as if the person is dead, but they're not dead. They're alive. But you love them with all your heart, but all of a sudden you can't even talk to them. So it's very weird when you're grieving. But sorry,
I,
you were.
yeah, no, I think a lot of people can resonate with that. I think everyone's gone through a breakup
Yeah.
that feels that way. But what I just wanted to point out was it was interesting is that uh, at the beginning you mentioned this idea of getting away, going to a new physical space, and
Yeah.
that's something that you did here uh, as a sort of a new opportunity to start over. Just interesting that keeps coming up.
Yeah, it's been my life. And I don't I don't want to like blow your mind, but I mean, Christopher Columbus, I always think about new beginnings. I got the ship tatted on me, you know. I just believing that, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I moved to Ottawa, but I was going through a really hard time, bro. And I don't listen, I've had breakups in my life. There was something about this one. I think my whole identity was tied up into this family, right? So when the things happen, it shattered my belief system. I had to reinvent myself. And I was going through like some really bad depression. I was going through a lot of anxiety. I never had anxiety in my life, but I was going through panic attacks, multiple panic attacks a day. I would have a customer that I'm showing a car, and I'm in the middle of him. I'm like, yeah, go test drive the vehicle. I get a panic attack. I rush it to the hospital thinking I'm having a heart attack. Customer comes back, buys the car with the other salesperson because I'm gone. And so the owner is like, what are you doing? I'm like, bro, I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting, my heart starts to go. It's like 160 beats per minute. My hands are like tingly. I can't breathe. I feel like this impending doom. I'm gonna faint. I don't know what's going on. So I can start going to the doctor, to the hospital, and they're telling me, buddy, you're fine. Like your heart, your everything is like brand new. It's like you're 29 at the time. You're healthy. So yeah, I was just going through that, man.
Well,
And
that's still really
thankfully,
scary though. Like,
very scary.
how did you come out of that? Because that's a really hard thing once you're in that space and you have all these other pressures that are on you. I mean, at the time you hadn't moved to Ottawa yet, right? So you still had these financial pressures and the you know tragedy of the relationship falling apart and all these other things that you're experiencing, how do you reinvent yourself, in your words? How do you come out of that? How do you break through that misery and stress and challenge? Because I think a lot of people are in that place, and your story might be able to help them.
Like I said, I'm Christian, so I lean a lot on my faith. But even even on a, let's say you take that away, even on a practical point of view, number one, you want to have a support system. And if you're a guy, you want to have a masculine support system. And for me, it was very helpful. And an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So the I started getting busy. So martial arts, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. I did it up till I was 25. I started training again, and I started meeting really cool people. I started hitting the gym. I started getting back in shape. I started, and I just had a really good supportive group of men that, I'll be honest with you, I was a shitty friend because when I was engaged, I was like over the moon, and I just kind of, oh, my friends, do you know those friends that like have a girlfriend and they disappear?
100%. Yeah.
I was one of those. I have a girl now. I will never disappear. My friends, you need to have a life outside of your relationship, especially to keep your masculine energy. Because I'll be honest, towards the end of the relation, I was a biatch. I was like what you call a simp, bro. Like I was bad, uh, but
So
yeah,
you're building
and
yourself up in other ways. You're leaning
I'm
on other
building
men.
myself, man.
Yeah.
And I believe if you're going through a time in your life where panic attacks are happening, bouts of depression are happening, dude, talk therapy, letting things out. So talk therapy works, and physical exertion, like hitting things, man, going to the gym, getting out. I believe I love my dogs. Dogs. If listen, bro, like if you're a single guy and you're getting anxiety and you have depression, I promise you, if you have a little dog and you go for walks, that is gonna go away like 100%. When a dog holds you and they hug you, like it's a cure for everything. But talk therapy, man.
Yeah.
Talk to a professional if you have the money. If not, get some good friends. And there's some good people out there that will help you.
I'm
Some
glad to hear
communities.
you say that, because I think talk therapy is, especially for men, something that feels taboo or weak, or something that a lot of guys would associate with this idea of like being feminine or being, I
No,
don't know, just weak, or just not something that they need to do. And I really
you
love
have to do
that
it.
you're like breaking that stereotype, because I agree. I think it can be really helpful for a lot of people, not just people with, mental health concerns, but even just like if you're doing fine, you're just an average person, you're doing fine, but you just need someone to talk to or someone to work through your problems with. These are people who are trained. These are people who can, if nothing else, be an ear for you. And I think a lot of men would benefit from that.
But when you're having a conversation with a licensed professional, they're not telling you anything. They're just unpacking. You'll be talking to them like I'm talking to you right now, and I go and I just start like word vomiting. I'm like boom, 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 boom. Hold on, what did you say right there? And what does that mean to you? And when did you start feeling that way? And when you do that, how do you feel? And all of a sudden, you start reverse engineering things, and everything goes back to childhood. And you realize that, and you're like, "Pah," you start crying, and you have this moment. But you start rebuilding yourself brick by brick. A lot of people that judge people that go to therapy, somebody was judging, but I'm like, bro, but when you were going through a breakup, you were drinking. I'm
Right.
sorry, bro, but like drinking away your problems, that's way worse. I'd rather talk to a professional and deal with this head on, like raw. Like you know what I mean?
I agree.
And I'm dealing with the problem. You're dealing with the symptoms. It's very different.